Makes you cringe just to hear that, but that's what we're dealing with, the brutal nature of all this. Let's welcome in our guests. We have our experts, great attorneys. Pilar Prinz joins us. Joey Jackson is back with us. And we also have with us body language expert Susan Constantine, who's been following this so closely as well. Okay, now today, a lot of the testimony concerned the planning. What Jodi Arias buying gas cans so she wouldn't have to buy gas in Arizona to cover her tracks. Talking about the robbery, the gun at her grandparents, 25 caliber. What was Travis shot with a 25 caliber as well? So Pilar, let me start with you. What's more pertinent here? The brutal nature of this with the stab wounds we just heard with our guest from Nancy Grace, or the meticulous evil planning that may have went on here?
Well, really, Mike, both go into it, but I would say that it's the brutal nature because remember, at this point of the case, they don't have to prove murder. She's already been convicted. We're at the sentencing phase, and it is a death penalty case, and what the prosecution needs to prove is the cruelty and the heinousness of this crime. So I would be focused on what we were just looking at because that made me feel physically sick.
Tweets. We're taking your calls. 1-877-TEL-HLN is the number. Let's get to the calls as we have our experts back with us, Pilar Prinz, Joey Jackson, and body language expert Susan Constantine. Rebecca's with us in Colorado. Rebecca, your thoughts?
If Jodi Arias was a male and Travis was a female, people would be outraged at the brutality. So we have to reverse the sexes, and I think Jodi Arias should be executed.
There you have. So you think preferential treatment because she's an attractive young woman? Is that what you're seeing? Okay. Pilar, what do you think of that?
It's a great point. I think that people would be outraged, but I think people are outraged now. The difference is that because she is portraying herself as a smaller, more petite female going against a larger male, that she's trying to use that to say, no, I really was the victim and I was scared and I was subject to his, you know, I was at his woes, basically. I mean, she's saying she was a female who would have done anything for him. So it shouldn't be about sex, but she can still use the difference in the gender to play to her defense.
Do you think some of the jurors have their minds made up after seeing the brutality of the crime scene photos, or are they instructed not to do that and to wait until the very end?
They are instructed not to. Do some of them have their minds made up? We're all human.
If you're Juan Martinez, and he's probably one of the best at it, to say, come on, enough with this waif-like, she's not who she's portraying in this courtroom. Look what she did to Travis Alexander.
That's right. You focus on her actions. You focus on the brutality. You go back to the size of the knife like we were seeing earlier, the depth with which she stabbed him, the actions with the gas can. I mean, you want to do everything to say she might be sitting there. They can't say this, but she might be sitting there looking waif-like, looking smaller. Focus on what she looked like before.
And I would have focused on
happened.
the stalking and the relentlessness. And her.
To that point, let's
if you
talk
have
about
someone like him on the jury,
that's good for Jodi Arias.
That's angry and who's saying, look, she shouldn't die because Travis played some sort of role in this.
I don't know that a woman like him gets on this jury, but wow, that was a mouthful, Kim.
Well, let's say this, but what if you dial it back to the basics? What Juan Martinez is trying to show, she went to kill. She stole the gun from the grandparents. She bought the gas can so her tracks would be covered.
Turned the license plate upside down.
She flipped the license plates upside down in Pasadena. All that adds up to premeditated murder. I mean, maybe she's thinking, okay, if Travis takes her back, the plan is off. Maybe, but so what? The plan wasn't off.
She had a plan in place.
She planned to kill.
She stole the gun from her grandparents, I think it was a couple days before. She had a plan in place to go there and to kill Travis.
But remember, again, that goes to whether it was first-degree murder, and we're not at that phase. We've got to get past that.
True.
Right, that ship has sailed.
Right, so do they have to focus on the day? What happened to Travis in that bathroom?
I think you've got to focus on the cruelty.
Yeah,
I think you
rather
past
than innocent or guilt.
Don't retry the case that you've already
The planning screams evil, too.
Pilar, when the jury deliberates and they're deciding on life or death, what is that like? Do they first go around and say, okay, are you considering life or death? And then if there's one holdout, they try to convince you either way. I'm fascinated by that stage.
Well, usually what they're going to do is they're going to take the temperature in the room first. So they're going to go around and ask everybody to figure out how much movement do they need to get. If everybody's on the same page, they're done. And they've got to really figure out where they are. And then it's, you know, how much work do they have to do from there?
There you go. And the last time we know that the original jury was 8 voted for death, 4 for life.
That's a tough process.
And if that happens again, then it's going to go to the judge and death will be off the table.